Good evening. We're going to do some yin yoga here, some post-workout yin yoga. But even if you haven't just trained, this is going to be perfect for you all. Happy Monday. Your boy Hostel Yogi coming at you from Koh Phangan, Thailand. Every day following my workout, I do a nice deep stretch, and I decided I would offer it with you. So feel free to join me. It's just a pop-up class. There's no fillers, no fluff. We're just going to go straight into the poses. I'll guide you through a nice, deep, restorative, meditative type of class. Something to put the love back into the connective tissues that we destroy in our yang lifestyles and our pursuit of muscular gains in fitness. So I welcome you to a progressive yin yoga experience. They call me Hostel Yogi. My name is Julien Tellier. I'm currently in Thailand, and I just finished training in this fitness facility. So we're going to do lower body for the most part today. Please join me. The first pose, you come onto your hands and knees. And the first pose is going to be for the glutes, the piriformis, and the outer thigh, or the IT band. So you'll place your hands and knees on the ground. You put your right knee up to your right hand. You bring the left foot forward, comfortable distance away from, the right foot forward, a comfortable distance away from your left leg. And you'll arch your back. You'll feel this all down the right side of your right leg and in your glutes. It's a mild back bend as well. Just coming into this pose, you'll bring your awareness to your breath, get settled in. How is your breath as you first arrive to your mat? Is it short and choppy? It's the evening, perhaps it's long and lengthened. Perhaps you can try to lengthen your exhales a little bit more, at least in the beginning of our practice. It will help you get into a deeper meditative state and help you get more out of your practice. You'll also feel this on your left hip flexor. So now we're going to just shift the weight to the right a little bit. You'll feel it a little bit more in the outer thigh and the glutes. Shift the weight to the right. And we come back to neutral. Just open up these hips a little bit more. Let's shift our weight to the left a little, dropping that left hip closer to the ground, opening up that left hip flexor. You look over your right shoulder. And come back to neutral. And let's look up if it's available to you, opening up the throat to the front of the neck. Arching the back a little bit more. Perhaps you push the ground away from you a little bit, getting strong in the pose, just a little yang aspect to a yin pose, just for a few breaths. Looking up at the ceiling or the sky if you're outside. Let's take the head down and look down, opening up the back of the neck. And come back to neutral. Let's go ahead and walk our hands forward. And if it's available to you, you'll come down onto your forearms. If you find it's too strong, perhaps you'll stay up. Yin postures tend to be held a little bit longer than the yang poses. We'll be in this posture a few minutes. I call it progressive yin yoga because we go through several phases, and each variation of the pose is to help you go a little bit deeper, if you choose. If you're new to Yin Yoga, you might find that your eyes are open, you're trying to watch and listen to the video, but anytime the instruction is over, I invite you to close your eyes in this safe environment. Yin is an internal practice and a quieter, softer practice than its Yang counterpart. And in so, we take our awareness inside, or Yin side as we say in Yin Yoga. That's where the healing takes place. That's where the magic happens. Now we're going to come onto our right forearm, tuck the left toes to push up a little bit. We're going to twist. We're going to lift our left foot high in the air, windmill the left arm back to catch the foot. If you can't catch the foot, perhaps you'll use a strap or a belt or even a towel. Or you may just lift the left leg without catching it. That might be enough. For every part of the body that's not engaged in order to hold on to something, try to relax it. There's always a little bit of yang and yin, but we want to minimize the muscular effort as much as possible. This version of this stretch is more toward the yang side of our yin practice. At this time, I invite you to pull the foot or the heel just a little closer to the body, feeling a stretch in the quad muscle on the left thigh, the upper thigh of your left leg is where you should feel this sensation. And gently going to release the left leg and bring your left hand back in front of you, back onto the forearms. And if it's available to you, perhaps you'll come down a little bit lower, increasing the positive stress on the outer thigh and the glutes. You may place a block in front of you. This is prop free. Most of the classes I do in the gym are prop free because I don't carry the props. But if you have a block, you can place a block under your chest or a book or anything to elevate you. If you don't, you can hold yourself up. If it's available to you, perhaps you'll make a pillow with your hands and rest your forehead on your hands. We're slowly going to bring ourselves out of this posture by pushing up and walking ourselves onto our hands, walking our hands back close to the legs, tucking the left toes, pushing up onto the knee, bringing the right knee back, staying in a tabletop position just for a moment. And we're going to go into the other side. Bring the left knee to the left hand, and you'll swivel the foot toward the right hand. This is not alignment-based yoga, so it doesn't matter what you look like. It matters where you feel it. And so again, this pose, you'll feel it in your right hip flexor, and you feel it on your outer left thigh, and possibly in your glutes as well. First half of the pose is a mild back bend as we're arching our back, pushing the ground away from us. And so let's open up the front of the neck by looking up at the ceiling. And let's look down at the ground and open up the back of the neck. Coming back to neutral. Let's push the ground away from us a little more, increasing the back bend. Let's lean to the left side, sinking that left hip down, a little closer to the ground, feeling the outer hip a little bit more. If your knees bother you, you may pad the knees with a towel, a blanket, a cushion. That right knee can dig into the ground sometimes. Let's lean to the right, sinking that right hip flexor a little closer to the ground. You feel it more in this area here now. Let's look over our left shoulder. And coming back to neutral. Come down onto our forearms. Eyes can be closed, head can hang heavy. And just notice any sensations arising in the body. No judgments, no commentary. Just simple presence and awareness. We're going to come up on our right hand. We're going to swivel our left hand to give us balance. Put all of our weight on our left forearm. We're going to bend the right leg and windmill our hand back to catch it. And we pull the right foot in close to the body. This will create a positive stress on our quad or the front of our thigh. And see if you can take that foot a little bit closer to the body, increasing the sensations in the thigh. Just the last few breaths here. It's also opening up the chest, depending on how you're catching your foot. You can catch the foot on the outside or the inside. Any kind of reaching over like this tends to open the chest and the shoulder a little bit. You can go ahead and release the right leg and bring your hand back, right hand back to the front. Come back to your forearms, and if it's available to you, I invite you to come down onto your hands, making a pillow for your forehead. And perhaps your forehead goes on the ground, your hands go in front of you. Go ahead and bring your head up. Come up onto your hands. Gently releasing the posture by tucking your right toes. Coming back to tabletop. Come back to your heels. Spin around. We're going to set up for a rebound. If you haven't done the rebound before in yoga, it's a mini shavasana following most every pose. It's an opportunity for the body to settle back to its natural state after these long-held poses. I like to lay on my back. I place my right hand on my stomach, my left hand on my heart. And I just make a mental scan from the toes all the way to the head. Just checking in with the body. Noticing how it feels after this first set of poses. Gently bring the awareness back to the body. Wiggle your toes, your fingers in your own time. Find yourself back upright. The next pose is going to be for the hamstrings, but you may feel it all the way down your leg if you have tight hamstrings like me. The main target area is the back of the upper thigh, but you may also feel it in the back of the knee and maybe even in the calf. The right leg goes long, and the left leg you have several options. You can just place it on the ground like this. You can place it on top of your right thigh for added weight, or you can step it over the right thigh and bring it in close to the body as an anchor. I will keep it simple today and just keep my left heel into the right inner thigh. Take a couple of breaths here, and for me this is already tight. I feel this already just in an upright position. But as you're ready, you can fold forward. I will start by placing my hands on top of my leg and just a mild forward fold. As you sit here in this posture, are you holding tension anywhere? Ask yourself that, or maybe you feel it already. If you're holding tension somewhere, can you let go of that tension? Ask yourself, and at this time I invite you to fingertip walk your hands forward. Take it just a little bit deeper. And sometimes I place my hands underneath the lower part of my right calf and use it as an anchor to hold my hand in place, so I don't have to use muscular effort from my arm. We're not pulling, we're not forcing anything in yin. We leave that for the yang practices. Head hangs heavy, eyes are closed. Awareness can be on your breath, could be on the sensations you feel in the body. Something to root you to the present moment. And I invite you to take it just a little bit deeper. Fingertip walk your hands forward a little bit more. Maybe grab on your toes or your ankle, your shin bone. If you're on your toes and you pull your foot, the ball of your foot and your toes toward your body, you will feel the stress in the back of the calf as well. It can be quite intense, so choose wisely. And gently walking yourself back up. And just take a breath here before we switch sides. Bring the right foot in. Send your left leg long. And just find a comfortable starting position. Again, feeling this in the back of the upper left thigh. If your right foot is into the inner thigh like mine, you may feel an opening in your groin also. Each skeleton is different, each body is made different, so find which works best for you. And again, there's no pushing or forcing. In Yin Yoga, we let time and gravity do their work naturally. Time and gravity will naturally take you deeper. And if you wish, let's fingertip walk the hands a little bit further away from the body. And for me, I like to anchor them underneath my left calf muscle. That way I don't have to hold myself in place. The weight of the muscle kind of pulls the body forward, giving me a little more of a forward fold. I release all tension and I let my head hang heavy. I also invite you to close your eyes at this time and take your awareness inside. And for the final few breaths, I invite you to fingertip walk your hands just a little further away from your body. Perhaps you're on your ankle. Maybe one hand or both hands are on your foot. And if you went too deep in the beginning, you can feel free to take yourself out of the pose a little bit, to back off. There's no ego in yoga. It's not a competition. Feel free at any time to back out of the posture. It's your practice. And take care of your body. You're going to need it for a long time. Gently releasing any hold you may have and walking yourself back up slowly. You may feel a little achy coming out of the posture, or even fragile or vulnerable. If you do, this is quite normal. In fact, if you feel this way, you've done the pose properly. And that is why we take a rebound after every pose, or every set of poses. It's an opportunity to let the body settle back to its natural state. Just a minute here in Rebound, sitting with any of the sensations that may arise. And gently bring the awareness back to the body. We'll make our way up into a seated position. This next pose is going to be for the quads, or the upper thigh. You'll find yourself with your left hand out, away from the body, your weight on your left side. And you'll tuck or bend the right leg, tucking the foot behind you. And if you have any ankle pain, you may put a blanket or some padding underneath the ankle. You should feel this in this area here. If this is intense, you'll stay here. And if you wish for more, you'll come down onto your forearm on the left side. If this is intense, you'll stay here. If you wish for even more, you'll come all the way onto your back. Sometimes when I come onto my back, depending on how tight I am that day, my knee will be off the ground. If there's no pain, there's no problem. So don't worry about it. If you find yourself in pain, anytime during your practice, make minor adjustments until you're out of pain.